apologies for the casual start, but you only have so many options to you available with this streaming thing. So we figured we would sidle in casually.
Yeah. There's no graceful way to do it.
Nope. Happy Uilleann Piping Day to everyone. International Uilleann Piping Day, I should say. We're very happy to be doing this stream today on behalf of the Ward Irish Music Archives, who very kindly asked us to do a short concert for them. The Ward Archives is home to one of the great treasures of Irish American music, anyways, probably of Irish music, which is the Dunn family collection, and in particular the Francis O'Neill wax cylinders, which contain a great store of piping and fiddling from the Irish music scene in Chicago around the turn of the century. So we'll be playing a bunch of tunes from those cylinders today. But it being International Piping Day, we'll first start off with some tuning, of course. We'll start in with our first set of the afternoon. These are a couple of jigs that come from two cylinder recordings, but both of the great Chicago piper James Early. These are my former wife, and Early called it Early called it Saddle the Pony, but it's more commonly called East of Glendart these days. I start these, right?
Yeah.
thanks for tuning in, guys.
Good to see you.
Do feel free to say hello in the chat, as we are monitoring it here.
Yeah. And otherwise, it's just us sitting in a room talking to ourselves.
This is the same one that's showing up on the Ward Archives page, right?
You know,
Should we double check?
We should double check.
Yeah.
It's cross post.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check. That was a bad idea.
Well, Caitlin sorts. We're streaming to multiple locations today, so we just want to make sure we're seeing all the chat everywhere.
Oh no, we're not seeing the chat.
I see.
Wow. So if you're on our page, there is a chat and the Ward Irish Music page, archives page, and then if you're over there, there's chat on our page as well. So maybe we should keep both open in case.
Yeah, we'll monitor all the windows. Maybe we can encourage people to watch on the Ward Archives page, just so everyone can kind of chat together if there's any questions. I believe Jeff from the Ward Archives is there to kind of answer questions specifically pertaining to some of the historical matters that we'll be mentioning today. Jeff knows a lot about it than either of us do, so he's the man to ask. So yeah, as I was saying, that was two tunes from the playing of Sergeant Early, who Sergeant James Early, who was a great piper. You can hear the cylinders that we would have learned those tunes from over on the Ward Archives page. There's a great
which Jeff has dropped a link in the chat as well if you want to go check those out.
Yeah. And it's tremendous music altogether. Early was I suppose a good friend and a musical associate of Michael Dunn, who the Dunn cylinders, I suppose, ultimately come from. The Dunn cylinders, or I suppose the Francis O'Neill cylinders, would have been recordings made on wax cylinder by Chief O'Neill of many of the luminaries of the Chicago music scene around the turn of the 20th century, and would have been passed on to James Early, or would have been given to James Early, who in turn passed them on to Michael Dunn, who was a Milwaukee man, which is how they came to wind up in Milwaukee. Also in the cylinders are an awful lot of music of the great piper, of the great Irish American piper of the turn of the century, Patsy Tuohy. And we're going to try a Patsy Tuohy set now. Two more reels from the Dunn cylinders, Scotch Mary and Kiss Behind the Barrel. Kiss the Maid Behind the Barrel, which Tuohy, I believe, actually would have called The Maid Behind the Bar, I think?
Yeah, The Maid Behind the Bar. And actually the first one we got from our setting, we specifically learned from a trio recording of Tuohy, Early, and fiddle player John McFadden. Mm-hmm. So it's the only fiddle set or fiddle tune in here.
Can you hear McFadden at all?
Like a little bit, but not that well.
there you go. It's always I'm a huge admirer of piping from this era, the era that was captured in the Chief O'Neill cylinders or the Dunn cylinders. It was a time in America where there truly was kind of a professional piping caste who would have made their living on the vaudeville circuit and amongst Irish American communities in Chicago and New York and Philadelphia and other places as well. It was a time, I think, of maybe great optimism for the instrument. The modern concert pitch Uilleann pipes had kind of been invented in Philadelphia by the Taylor brothers just in the 1860s, really. And I think there's a brightness and drive to this music and to the instruments themselves that is really something else. It's always captured my interest in something that I've tried to study to the best of my abilities. Although it's always, you wouldn't want to stack yourself up against Tuohy. He's kind of untouchable. I should say that the chanter I'm playing on today actually kind of comes out of that tradition as well. It would have been made in Chicago by a man named Patrick Finley, who learned his pipe making trade, anyways, from a lot of the pipers and reed makers and makers of chanters who would have been active in Chicago around the turn of the century. Paddy Finley was kind of the last of that line and made this chanter here. Yeah, what should we try next?
Do you want to try a march?
Yeah, should we check the chat, see if anyone's saying hello?
Yep.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and do say hi in the chat. It keeps me from having to prattle on. We should also mention before we get too far in that we are playing for your generous donations today. So if you feel like throwing a few bucks or euros or pounds or whatever else you please our way, we'd be happily suggest it or happy to accept it. A link on how to do that is in the details both on Facebook and YouTube. And yeah, do feel free to chime in with any questions or the like, or suggestions, comments.
Yes.
Stories about Patsy Tuohy.
Yeah, if you knew Patsy Tuohy.
Yeah, am I talking too much?
No.
we do a stream every Sunday, much more kind of a casual session thing, and so it feels very different to be kind of getting our formal concert
it's
pants
very
on
weird.
again.
Yeah, I kind of am getting to sit back and let you talk since it's Uilleann piping.
I also just I'm gonna
close that. Is that making you
adjustment? Yeah.
Making you nervous?
Just staring at my own face all the time. All right, we'll carry on now with a march that's better known as "I Won't Be a Nun," but it's one that Tuohy recorded as Governor Taylor's March. I have no idea who Governor Taylor was. Perhaps Jeff knows. But it's Tuohy's version of "I Won't Be a Nun," which is a great old rollicking march, and Tuohy had a 3-part version of it that we'd like to play. So we'll try that for you now. Let's tune in. Taylor's March. Nate Banton in the chat, who's a great pipe maker here in Portland, Maine, mentions that he has the same birthday as Patsy Tuohy.
That's pretty cool.
Which is an honor that I wish I also shared. So we'll try a few more for you all. It's going to be a shorter concert today. We've got, I think,
just a couple more.
A couple more, maybe 3 more sets.
Depending on.
Yeah. We'll try. You want to do the jigs next?
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll try 2 more from Tuohy. The first is his version of The Humors of Whiskey, a slip jig, and then The Maid on the Green. Which is a double jig that, if there's a tune that's more associated with Patsy Tuohy, then I can't think of it. You start this one, or you start it? Yeah.
Sure. If you play with pipers, they make you do really mean things like play high Cs. Sometimes you forget that it's coming.
Uilleann and I, it's very easy on the pipes to get up to the high C. You've got a key for it here on the back of the chanter, whereas on the fiddle you kind of have to run all around the fingerboard
Just kind of slide it up there.
to get up to it.
That's not like how classical players do it. It's sort of.
But yeah, when Caitlin and I, Jeff asked us a few weeks ago to kind of do this concert, which was very, very kind of him. And naturally, I immediately I've been learning music out of the Dunn cylinders for years now, and it turns out as Caitlin and I were kind of going through some of the settings that they feature an awful lot of high C's.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of have a high C limit
Yes.
on the concert. But I think there's one or two more left maybe.
I think that was it.
I might do one or two more.
Oh, okay.
It's okay, they're just variations. What do you think? Should I do an air?
Sure.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeff, is it okay if we do a couple more?
Yeah, we might just do two more, if that's all right.
Do you need anything?
No.
Like a drink
Oh
wise?
no, I'm fine. I'm just making sure. There's anything fun going on in the chat that we've missed? Any questions or the like? No.
Jeff mentioned that the identity
Oh.
of Taylor might have been the governor of Wisconsin.
That's interesting.
Potentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. All right. So I will quit my blabbering and try a slow air. Do you wanna? Are you gonna stick around here? Are you gonna take a brief?
I think I'll get off camera.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. I'll try one of my own. It wouldn't be a celebration of International Uilleann Piping Day if it weren't for a slow air. So I'll try one that comes again from the playing of Patsy Tuohy. It's one that I'm fond of because it's an unusual interpretation of a tune that's called "Pretty Girl Milking Her Cow." Tuohy played it, and most pipers would usually play it in the key of A, but Tuohy took it one step higher and put it in B minor, where it sits very nicely on the pipes. I think it's an unusual sort of key, unusual tonality to hear the pipes playing. But I'll try it anyways. Pretty Girl Milking Her Cow. There you are. A pretty girl milking her cow. So you didn't decide to leave.
No, that's great.
I figured you'd hear me blow a couple of those red cords and decide that you'd, move on.
No, that sounds great.
Well, thanks very much to everyone for tuning in. And thanks very much to the Ward Irish Music Archives and to Jeff for asking us to do this concert, to do our bit to help celebrate International Uilleann Piping Day. We, as we said earlier on, we are playing for your generous donations this afternoon, and we would very very kindly accept them should you feel inclined to give. A link on how to do that is in the details. Caitlin and I also have an album called The Glory Reel that we would have made released in the spring of 2019. And that's available on Bandcamp. There's a link on how to acquire that and the details as well. And finally, if deep dives into Irish American music from the turn of the century is the sort of thing that you're into, and I'm guessing that if you're watching this, there's at least a chance that it is. Caitlin and I have a project called the Phonograph Project, where we study and then record Irish music that was recorded first in the 1920s and 30s from the greats of likes of fiddler greats like Michael Coleman and James Morrison, pipers like Tom Innes and Michael Carney, flute players like John McKenna and Tom Morrison. So if that's something that interests you and that you might like to know more about, we're essentially recording an album over there. We put out a few tracks every month, both in audio and video format, and also there's a tutorial component as well. So head over to our Patreon page and check out the Phonograph Project if it sounds like something that might appeal. But mostly just thanks for showing up and watching us. We love this music, and we love the immense cultural treasure that the Dunn Cylinders are. It's a recording that I listen to all the time, and so it was a great honor to be asked to do our little bit and kind of celebrating them and drawing attention to them. And I believe Jeff's already posted a link to them.
Yeah, definitely check them out. And check out the Word Archives.
They're incredible musical treasures. Did I forget anything?
I think that's it. I think you did the whole spiel.
Sounds good. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone. We'll try one more set. Jeff actually sent me a very interesting image of I believe oh my God, I've forgotten a program
Yes.
for the, I believe a Gaelic League celebration that was held in Chicago. I think it was around 1914. That featured Patsy Tuohy as one of the performers. And he put a set together. There was kind of a listing of all the tunes that Tuohy would have played as part of the program. And he paired a couple of, he called them hop jigs, although we suspect that they were maybe what modern people would call slip jigs, as the names kind of got flipped around sometime in the 20th century. He played a couple of slip jigs, Give Us a Drink of Water, and The Rocky Road to Dublin, into the Duke of Leinster. Which is a reel. It was an unusual thing for a musician of that time to kind of be mixing tune types together like that. But Tuohy was awfully fond of it. He did it on a number of cylinders as well. So we figured we'd cover Tuohy's set. We skipped out the Rocky Road to Dublin, so we actually never really heard it in kind of a slip jig form before.
Yeah, we didn't know what Tuohy's version would sound like.
Yeah.
Yes, and then we did something perverse, which is we added the ladies' pantalettes on the end. The Duke of Leinster and the ladies' pantalettes is a very famous set recorded together by the great Michael Coleman, fiddle player. But these are Tuohy's settings of both of those tunes. I'm slightly scared that Coleman's gonna come, his ghost is gonna come haunt us, but hopefully he'll understand.
He'll forgive us, I'm sure. Anyways, we'll give these a shot now, and then we'll say our goodbyes. Again, thanks so much to all of you for tuning in. Yeah, thanks so much, everyone.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining. Thank you, Jeff, for having us.
Yeah.
It's been fun.
Yeah, please do check out the Ward Irish Music Archives. There's nothing else like them in this country, and for musicians like us, they're a tremendous resource, and hugely interesting and valuable. So please head over their way and check them out. And yeah, if you're a piper, make sure you play your pipes today. Yeah, shall we call it there?
Yeah,
Great.
I think that's it. Do you want to do your wave?
Yeah, as is customary, I will now wave at the camera until Caitlin turns off the video screen, which is what we call it.
Yes, the video
thanks,
screen.
again, thanks so much,
Thank
everyone.
you.
We really appreciate it. Happy International Uilleann Piping Day. Goodbye.